It's unbelievable. It's funny how God always takes me to the unthinkable and provokes me to do the things that people wouldn't fathom doing. And I never would have thought it this time last year when I was laying up in the hospital dealing with these blood clots, getting 2 toes amputated and the sides of my legs cut out, that I would be in Colorado in this beautiful weather, this beautiful place, this beautiful city, which is virtually crime-free with over 36,000 students and a fan base that just...
Yeah, man, listen, man, he appreciates it, though. You see how he's coming from Jafrica. He appreciates that. It's just human nature.
Yeah, he don't care about the diversity. He could care less about any of that. He's happy that he's in a safer environment.
Yeah, well, he better enjoy it because in 5 years we're going to be talking about, the latest drive-by in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh,
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
I hope not, man. I hope not. But yeah, let's move back to Jafrica.
There were 2 other shootings in the capital city today. One of them was deadly. Community members sounding off. They're calling for an end to the violence. Another dispute between 2 people leads to a deadly shooting in Jackson. Police say early this morning, someone on a white motorcycle shot and killed a man in front of his home on Ford Avenue. The 2 had apparently gotten into an argument. The cousin of the victim, who didn't want to be identified, said her family member was killed right in front of his daughter.
A very demonic person that would lure somebody out the house and gun him down in front of his child.
Hours earlier, someone shot a man as he was driving on the interstate. Police say someone in a light-colored Jeep shot the victim on I-20 near Highway 80. With shootings becoming a daily occurrence in the capital city, some Jacksonians are on the edge.
It was kind of hard to wake up in the morning and the first time you turn your TV on and you see the same thing happening. I was just wondering when it's going to stop.
I just really hate to see Jackson in the conditions that it's in right now. I'm very hopeful that things will turn around sometime soon.
Why is she hopeful that things will turn around? Where's the hope?
You keep on hoping, sister. I don't see that shit happening.
Where did she get the hope from?
She just talking out her behind.
Wow. But yeah, they had the most brainless, plain platitudes to offer about this stuff. But if a glider came through and sprayed it up, she'd be very specific about what needed to happen.
If a glider fucking said, "My God, it's violent here," on TV or a hot mic or something like
he'd
that,
be done.
She would have a conniption, and so would the entire city. Fuck a glider coming through spraying shit. If a glider fucking caught a Sunman rummaging through his car and put him in a headlock, and some fucking another Sunman took a fucking picture of it. The guy Lighter's got the guy in his headlock waiting for the police to come, holding him for the police. And some Sunman took a video footage of that and put it online. There would be rioting in this city.
Yeah, I mean, you could play a game. What she said was she describing the death and destruction in Jackson or the need to fill potholes in the city?
Yeah, we're going to get into all that, man.
Jackson, in the conditions that it's in right now, I'm very hopeful that things will turn around sometime soon.
Now, that driver that was shot on I-20 was able to drive himself to a nearby hospital. At last check, he's expected to survive. In that deadly shooting on Ford Avenue, the white motorcycle is all police have been able to tell us about that suspect.
Hey, if you had to explain the dynamics of violence to people like that, how would you start off? Because they seem
confused.
Say again.
I'm confused what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying.
Because the people they interview, it sounds like they've never been in a fight before. They never actually.
Both their sisters been in 100 fights. They grew up in fucking Jackson.
It looked like they fought over some chicken.
The Sun sisters in their 40s and late 40s and 50s from Jackson, Mississippi. They've been in fucking 100 fights. What are you talking about? They probably got kids that have been murdered. Definitely nephews and nieces and shit, and brothers and sisters.
Every one of them knows somebody killed.
Every one of them knows 30. Listen, Jesse LaSalle, Bernie Backus, working at Home Depot, living in D.C., working all the different places I worked in D.C., living in all the different neighborhoods. I know 30 people's names. I'm talking about first and last name who've been murdered. Let alone the people that you just know, like, hey, what's up, you? Yeah, you, hey, you. Them type of motherfuckers. Oh, hey, you. No, fucking hundreds. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Know somebody been murdered in Jackson? That little teeny place?
I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome to Matter of Fact. You've seen the headlines, a national increase in violent crime. They grab our attention, but often fail to provide a clear picture of exactly what's happening. Last year, Jackson, Mississippi recorded 155 murders, almost all involved guns. It's easy to label a place for its problems. Jackson's population is about 150,000. The city's 82% black. It has a poverty rate of 25% and the highest per capita murder rate in the country. But the people there know it goes beyond statistics. It's about the immense challenges for a town.
That right
goes
there.
Beyond statistics.
Look at that, man. Look at
That's a recipe for success if I've ever seen one.
That's 80. That's 18% away from being Haiti. Period, man. Like, they would literally have the gangs running the city.
They would have excavator fights.
Excavator wars. Yep. Definitely, man. Like, look at that place, man. 82%. That's just too much, man. Listen, man. That's too much, man. No place should be subjected to. There should be a law against that, man.
And why would any parent want to send their child there for college? I have a cousin out there in college right now, and I fear for her life.
Yeah, no doubt. It's crazy. And then, furthermore, to stay on the topic, why would anybody who was offered $5 million a year to leave not take it? Not just to leave, because you just told me you just gave me a place to stay outside of Jackson, I'd take it. But then you gonna throw in $5 million? And I don't have to, yeah.
They were a useful idiot, and you couldn't pay them. You couldn't, pay them, to think otherwise. That's the only thing I can think of why they would stay.
And I don't have to pay for the uniforms out of my salary and pay for the chalk to make the lines on the field. And,
I'm not going to get robbed every 2 weeks of everything in my office.
I mean, what are we talking of? Of course he left. Of course Coach Prime left. You kidding me?
He probably lost them toes and got blood clots from the stress of the environment.
Right. Or some kind of infection or something. They probably got cholera there, man.
It's about the immense challenges for a town. Our correspondent, Jessica Gomez, traveled to Jackson to see how the police and the community are working on a solution.
The late shift for 33-year-old Jackson Police Sergeant Christian Vance.
I have a lot of young people, and I say young, I mean 16, 17, 18 years old, doing violent things on a regular basis.
Never mind, I see that T.
Hey.
Savage.
Yo, listen to what he said though, man. It's very this right here is like if I say this, I'm a cool. It's crazy how like I say this, I'm a cool. Tommy says that he's a cool. Pick another person. Stephen A. Smith says that he's cool. Just anybody who's known as a cool or a sellout or a buck dancer or bootlicker says this. Listen to what he just said.
Young people, and I say young, I mean 16, 17, 18 years old, doing violent things on a regular basis. Hey, it's Vance again. We got any update on location?
It didn't take long for the first call to come in. shots fired.
Dude, calm down, man.
This time, a domestic dispute, something Sergeant Vance says has skyrocketed since the pandemic.
Now, we all know domestic violence calls are the worst, are the most dangerous, period, for all cops. Could you imagine how exponentially more dangerous they are in Jackson, Mississippi?
So, too, have homicides, a record number of people killed in Jackson last year.
Our job is to stop it before police are involved.
Nearby, Ira Henry, also patrolling the streets, but with no badge.
See, like the little guy who just shot the gun, that's why he ran down the street.
He's part of the new nonprofit Operation Good. They're violence interrupters, many of whom have served time and turned their lives around. Within minutes, here too, the sounds of gunfire. It would happen several more times that afternoon.
Going to the scene, man. Y'all going to the scene.
Bruh,
This is fucking insane.
it's
That's
farcical.
typical, though. That's typical. That's how it is.
I mean, I know, like, I've been near these neighborhoods, but it's just fucking retarded.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. Those guys, it's not just somebody shooting off like 4th of July. Those bullets are being shot in anger. The guy pulling that trigger is a psychopath, and he's aiming it at someone with the intent to kill them.
Or that was probably a toddler getting offed right there.
Yeah.
This shit is just...
Yeah, them bullets probably going in somebody's body right now.
Yeah, and all these guys were out there doing that shit 20 years ago.
Within minutes, here too, the sounds of gunfire. It would happen several more times that afternoon.
Going to the scene now. Y'all going to the scene. So if the siren go off 3, 4, 5 minutes from now, we know somebody shot.
Operation Good crews trained and paid to be on the streets, building relationships and de-escalating before things turn deadly.
How we communicate with the citizens is the way it should be. Because if you got a relationship with the community, it'll stop a lot of misunderstandings.
They're going to kill you.
It just so happens in every city where you have sun people, you have to have a civilian arm of the law enforcement that goes around, that is entirely made up of ex-criminals, ex-cons, that goes around to negotiate with sun terrorist teens. It's like, who else does this shit?
And it's not going to work.
And it doesn't
No,
work.
this will do absolutely zero.
Fail in every circumstance.
How many times do you think Deion was having practice and he could just hear the shit popping off all around his facility, and he was just like, fuck it.
The Jackson University is in Jackson proper. He heard that shit all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was like, maybe this whole HBCU thing is kind of bullshit.
And think about the route he took to get out of the city. Because he lives in the suburbs. I think he lives in Canton. He probably, he wouldn't stop for gas, nothing. Hit the highway, out of town. And people, now here, another thing, a lot of people get killed on the highway or the interstate here too. So you're not safe there either.
Yeah, doing.
Operation Good, a welcome sight for those like retired campus security officer Vera Harris.
I used to go for a walk every day, sometimes twice a day. I used to walk around this block, go a mile, and come back around. Right now, I'm afraid to do that. I can't do that anymore.
Her yard riddled with bullets and casings.
And the sound.
This shit is fucking hilarious. I mean, it's sad, but it's fucking hilarious that it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's free
And
ammo.
she totally just contradicts everything that last guy said. Just by that one statement. I can't even walk around anymore. And he's just saying it's great for the community. And it works.
But in all fairness, though, there's no solution anyway, so whatever.
And what does this say about her, man, as a homekeeper, man? The fact that not only are the leaves not raked, but the bullet casings aren't raked, man. This woman's a terrible
You gotta do twice the work in the sun community. You gotta rake the leaves and the bullets.
The casings? Damn.
I guess that's why there's trash everywhere and they don't bother.
To rake the leaves out.
Wait a minute, who's dropping live shotgun shells?
Right, and where the police at? Is there no police in Jackson?
Somebody who shot, somebody who probably shootouts. Look at this area is typical like country hood. Here's a place. It ain't projects. I know we in the cities we see projects. We think of that shit. Dense areas. Out in them countries, man. This is a fucking dangerous place. They shoot us every night over here. And look at it. She lives there. Wherever you see her, a bunch of hers, that's a dangerous place.
Aki's
I used to go for a walk every day.
Listen, man, to be honest, there's guys in jail. It's the guys who in prison that will kill you over her.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but I'm talking about you. You smashing that? You got that Chewbacca hair?
If he was in jail, yeah.
I don't want to be mean, but I don't want to be mean, but, like, listen, man.
If it weren't for the rat, man.
No.
She like a little yachty.
Yo, she do look like Lil Yachty.
She kind of like a dude.
Holy shit, that is hilarious.
She kind of like a dude. I'm sorry.
Crazy. I bet she got a gang of kids too, man. I bet them something pumped her full of babies.
She got 3 baby daddies probably.
It's probably their kids that shot those casings out. Right? You know?
Lil Yachty, that's crazy.
Sometimes twice a day. I used to walk around this block, go a mile, and come back around. Right now, I'm afraid to do that. I can't do that anymore.
Her yard riddled with bullets and casings.
And the sound of the gun and the make of the gun, you can tell.
We just heard something.
What is that?
It was a gun.
Every one of them.
You know what? This lady is stressed out. That's her hair. Her
She
hair.
don't look that stressed though. She her element.
Oh shit!
Like, could you imagine a glider queen live like this shit?
Could you imagine my little Asian friend from
hell
Boulder?
Yeah.
First day?
Hell.
That little Asian girl would be like, why are they popping fireworks every day?
Right,
I just
exactly.
don't understand what's going on.
Yo.
She was getting the first flight back to fucking Boulder. Like, the first one.
Yeah, salute the Platinum Pig. Yeah. This is an insane fucking goddamn video right here, man. This is gold, man.
Officer Vera Harris.
I used to go for a walk every day, sometimes twice a day. I used to walk around this block, go a mile, and come back around. Right now, I'm afraid to do that. I can't do that anymore.
Her yard riddled with bullets and casings.
And the sound of the gun and the make of the gun, you can tell.
We just heard something. You didn't flinch.
It was a gun, because I'm used to it.
Oh my God.
The city of Jackson, Mississippi's capital, and a place.
That reporter was under the car.
She said, you didn't flinch though. Like, what's going to happen?
Afraid to do that. I can't do that anymore.
Her yard riddled with bullets and casings.
And the sound of the gun and the make of the gun, you can tell.
We just heard something. You didn't flinch.
It was a gun, because I'm used to it.
Vera could be commanding a battalion
The
in
city
Ukraine
of
right
Jackson,
now. I mean, she's
Mississippi's
got nerves
capital,
of steel.
and a place some say is in crisis.
That headline, it doesn't tell the whole story about our city.
Police Chief James Davis
Charles Barkley
says the majority, more than 80% of last year's homicides, were not random, but interpersonal conflicts. The pandemic widening the cracks.
Not random.
What is this about the pandemic causing this stuff? Like I had a friend telling me, I said, you mean there's some kid who was about to be the valedictorian of his high school class and he just decided to just pick up a gun and start shooting instead?
Yeah, exactly.
I said, all that happened is there's no more cops, so everybody's free to do whatever they want to do now.
Everybody knows that some people as a whole have just now crept out of their houses after weathering the pandemic for, it's been a real strain on their communities because they've had to isolate from each other and, not commit the kind of activities
pandemic
that they usually
only
do.
affected the children. They was the only ones that were out of school. These grown people, I don't see how that affected them. Unless they got sick. That was it.
The killer children, the killers.
There was no quarantining. There was no. We did social distance for like 6 months. I remember that. If you stood too close to some person in line, they'll look back at you like you was crazy. But other than that, we didn't do none of the guidelines, man. We was outside, man.
Some woman called her boyfriend because some guy was standing too close to her online for some chicken in New York.
Dunkin' Donuts. It was Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I did that story. Yeah, he was standing too close in line, and she called the boyfriend. The boyfriend came and killed the guy on the spot.
In Jackson's fragile social foundation, where nearly a quarter of the population live in poverty, and mental illness and addiction often go untreated.
There is a mental health crisis that it takes all hands on deck to address those needs in a broken community.
The Jackson Police Department, like many around the country, is understaffed, short 88 officers in a department that should be more than 350 strong.
So help me God.
A push for virtual policing, the chief said.
Think about that. They have 262 officers in this city. That's it. That's terrifying.
And everybody can work on the same shift for the same day.
Right. That's just total. That's not coverage. That's total. Available. That's
what is that, like 60 guys out on the street on a shift or something like that, right?
Right. In Africa.
Says has been effective. Cameras where police can't be, but there aren't enough for the growing number of high crime neighborhoods.
We can't just invest in law enforcement. We can't do that. We're not going to see the results.
And you got her. Wherever she's at is dangerous.
Why don't any of these reporters say, well, how's that been working lately?
Yeah, how's that ever work? When you bring these sisters, listen, man, man, y'all are a telltale sign. Y'all are the canary in the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, and what's coming?
Yeah, like it's just like literally, if we see you, we know it's dangerous.
If the canary drives, it's trying to get
her eyebrows.
Number of
Karen Canary in the coal mine.
Crime neighborhoods.
We can't just invest in law enforcement. We can't do that. We're not going to see the results we need.
Rukia Lumumba runs the umbrella group for Operation Good and other community-based organizations. She says the city hasn't prioritized funding for neighborhood-led intervention efforts.
If all we're doing on one end is locking up people.
Is she the mayor's wife? I think this is the mayor's wife. The mayor's name
she got some.
Was that King? Is he porn bombing you?
Yeah, he's porn bombing me, man. He got banned from the studio.
Well, I mean, I wish they would tell us what they don't agree about Jafrica.
I got a headache from it.
Why don't they what's the disagreement on? Like, I want to know.
It's just they're just trying to intimidate you to stop it.
And doing nothing on the other end to actually create a better way of living for folks, then we're failing.
No, she might be the mayor's sister. I think she's the mayor's sister because she looks like him a little bit. I think it's the mayor's sister.
In New York,
to actually create a better way of living for folks.
In New York, they hired a guy to be like a violence interrupter. He was a former gangbanger. They were paying him like $250,000 a year, and he had a neighbor who apparently was pissing him off. Maybe the guy was parking his car in his space or something. So he threatened to get all of his former gangbanger buddies over to get the guy. That's how reformed these people are. They're not reformed at all. They're still running their scam.
It's just
he definitely had a gun on him all the time. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, no, they're still running their scam. That's what's going on.
Then we're failing.
Lumumba says efforts like Operation Good are working. With private donations in its first 9 months, the group targeted a 45-block area. The result, which Jackson police confirm, more than 200 days with no homicides.
It motivates.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's real good.
Not only is she the wife of the mayor, but she was his campaign manager.
Oh, okay. That's the mayor's wife. Okay, yeah. So at least he's married to a sister. I'm sure it's hard to find a Becky in Jackson. He probably was looking. He was looking, but he couldn't find one.
Operation Good are working. With private donations in its first 9 months, the group targeted a 45-block area. The result, which Jackson police confirm, more than 200 days with no homicide.
So that doesn't mean shootings, and it doesn't mean non-fatal shootings. But here's the thing: a 45-block radius. If they just had their worst year, right, and these guys took a 45-block radius, they may have taken them like in the good side of town. Listen, man. I don't know, man. There's something ain't right with this stat. A 45-block radius that these guys took on, there hasn't been a homicide in 200 days. But the city had its worst year ever.
Well, that's because they took the one neighborhood where there hasn't been a homicide in like 2 years.
Something ain't right, man. Maybe they got to be lying about that. It just can't. It's impossible almost.
You know, it motivates me to go another day, another year.
Motivation, Ira Henry says, to make a difference, especially for the next generation.
They feel comfortable. They know their business not going to be all over the street. They're not going to be talked about, not called a snitch because we're not police.
Put your hand behind your back, dog.
Good.
Meantime, as afternoon turns into evening, Sergeant Vance says he can use all the help he can get.
We have a group of kids growing up thinking that that's normal. We need to let them know that it's not a normal way to be. It's not a normal way to live. It's unacceptable. Check this out. Man, you saw how I did it? There's nothing more important than these kids. If we focus on them and keep
That
on...
little girl's going to grow up and say, when the police came around my way, I was scared. When I was a kid, she will be one of them sisters telling these fucking bullshit lies. I guarantee you.
She gonna be like, can I sit in the back?
Yeah. We were so terrified. When I was a kid, a cop put me in the cop car, and I was only 3 years old, and the cop put me in the back of his car when they gave it.
I'm gonna put an article about a violence interrupter in New York who got into hot water for threatening a New York parking agent.
Yeah. I put a video in the back chat of 3 violence interrupters from the same organization, Safe Streets in Baltimore, who were murdered in public in the course of 1 year. 3 from the same group, like that little group that these guys got. Imagine 3 of them being killed in 1 year.
And they want us to believe there's no jobs for former, son felons, right? There's job openings all the time.
That little girl gonna get an offer to move away from Jackson, just like Deion Sanders, and she gonna take it.
Yeah, she gonna take it. She's in the trenches. Deion is on the college campuses in the suburbs. That girl in the trenches.
Boulder, Colorado sits at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains and is known for its craggy rock formations called the Flatirons. Boulder is 25 miles northwest of downtown Denver, or about a 30-minute drive. Boulder is the 12th largest city in Colorado and has a population of just over 106,000 people that are spread out over 26 square miles. The most popular things to do in Boulder are exploring the University of Colorado campus, home of the Buffaloes and the Fisk Planetarium, hike one of the many trails up to the Flatirons, and cruise the outdoor Pearl Street Mall, which stretches 4 blocks. Boulder also consists of many parks and recreational areas, which the most popular being Chautauqua Park because of its size and location to the CU campus. This is a great start location for many of the hikes up to the Flatirons as well. One of the best hikes within the Flatirons is the Royal Arch Trail. Some people would rate this hike as hard, but I would say it's more towards the moderate scale. We recently did this hike.
She got that big old baby on her back.
If you ever decide to do it.
I do, baby. Looking good, dude.
I think it's Boulderfield. That's why they call it Boulder.
New tonight, a Jackson pastor files a lawsuit against some Jackson City Council members for allegedly saying he tried to bribe them with money for a vote regarding a contract dealing with the city's garbage. 12 News' Gary Burton Jr. reports.
Pastor Dwayne Pickett of New Jerusalem Church has filed a lawsuit against Ward 6 and Ward 7 City Councilman and Councilwoman Aaron Banks and Virgie Lindsay.
Aaron Banks
told people that I offered him $20,000 and told Virgil Lindsay I offered him $50,000 for a vote or regarding a contract, which is absolutely not true.
Pickett says Lindsay then told Jackson Mayor Chokwe and Lumumba. The contract in question is with National Waste United, a company Pickett thought what was best for sanitation workers. Pickett says that the last time he and Banks had a discussion was in August, and that discussion was about the FCC Environmental Services, one of the three firms that responded to the city's request for proposals for a solid waste contract.
I can't even fathom in my mind.
So they having trouble picking up their garbage in Jackson, Mississippi. It's a huge issue they're having there. They can't even pick up their garbage. Salute the Platinum Pig, man. I want to show you guys the type of problems you have in these Sun cities. Just watch this.
My attorney.
Not all council members, but clearly it's some old statement. If you know the facts, you argue the facts. If you know something else, you argue that. And if you don't have that, you just argue. And that's what this council has been doing the entire time regarding this procurement process, where by their own admission, they have been given more. Don't interrupt me, Councilman Stokes.
I got you.
No, you know, you have been given more. Wait. Okay.
I'm a councilman. Nobody let you
in this process.
I am a councilman. Nobody let you do.
Stop it. Enough.
Sounds like a
Enough.
White lady's like, stop it.
It sounds like a conversation with Kang ZX, man.
This is Haiti 2.0.
I want to see these gliders in the audience. I want to see their facial expressions watching.
Yeah, this is life in the Sun City. Thank God they got a couple. They gonna look like they got a ombrita, or is this no? This is a sister. This is a light skin.
That's a sun glider.
Yeah, and then you got this. At least you got her. She looked like the chairman. They put her in charge, man. At least she there.
In this process,
Nobody let you do.
Stop it. Enough.
You heard when she said stop it, they stopped.
We are not going
Call
to
the question.
This. All right, Mr. Stokes has called the question, but let me just tell you.
And see, that's the kind of disrespect that
you talking to council members like we bored.
Stop, please, y'all. This is not good for our city. This is not good for anybody.
Call the question.
It is out of control. I hear you, Mr. Stokes, but Mr. Hartley has had his hand raised for a very long time. I'm going to ask you.
I would like to respond to the councilman.
I also, Mr. Hartley, want to ask you, unless there is something really, really that.
God damn,
she's the last glider left over there.
She's the president. It says she's the council president, so she's in charge.
That's a Thanksgiving table for you.
Salute to her, man. It's Virgie Lindsay, man. She listen, man. She got a tough job, man. To say the least. My God.
You can add to this conversation. I'm going to honor Mr. Stokes' request.
Waste Management has a temporary contract with the city to pick up trash. They want a longer-term deal, but the mayor looks like he's prepared to move on to another company.
Lumumba firing back at Waste Management in the ongoing saga over Jackson's garbage contract.
I'm confident that they have no legal standing.
The trash collection giant hand-delivered a letter to the mayor and city council hinting at a possible lawsuit over the contract.
When lawyers feel like they have a cause of action, they don't usually threaten. They usually serve you.
Original law firm, which represents Waste Management, wants the city to enter into contract negotiations with the company because they say it's the only one left on the table. City Council twice voted down New Orleans-based Richards Disposal's proposed contract, which the administration chose in a blind selection process. Waste Management accused Mayor Lumumba of attempting an end run around the process when the mayor recently declared a local emergency over the garbage contract impasse with City Council. Waste Management claims it was scored the highest in the administration's RFP grading for twice-a-week trash pickup with no garbage cart.
We have crossed our T's, dotted all our I's. We've done all of our research. We've sought opinions on every step that we've taken.
Under the emergency, the mayor plans to bring in Richards Disposal for 1 year to collect the trash.
Can you declare a year-long local emergency?
Yes, they didn't question the declaration of an emergency when it served them, right?
Last fall, Waste Management signed a 6-month emergency contract to keep picking up the trash after its previous contract with the city expired.
And that emergency contract with Waste Management ends March 31st. They say they're willing to keep picking up the trash for an additional year, but the mayor doesn't seem interested in that option. Live at City Hall, Ross Adams, 16 WAPT News.
Now, what's going to happen if the mayor's at odds with Waste Management and he wants to bring in a black-owned company to start picking up the trash? What do you guys think will happen next? Yeah, exactly. That's what they want, but they can't balance. They got the water crisis too. Now, while all this is going on, while the trash is piling up and people they go weeks without picking up these people's trash, and water's brown. Even if you boil it, it doesn't fix it. They also have this.
All over town, the potholes are among us, taking a toll on cars and making it difficult for some to even get out of their neighborhoods. The city says it's working on these problems.
This should represent a sign that we're beginning to turn the corner.
One of the city's worst sections of roadway was Mill Street. That road is not even recognizable anymore. It's been completely repaired and paved over. But the city tells us it has a limited budget to make overdue repairs. Just $500,000 to cover more than 2,200 square miles of roadway.
Now, in a great
$500,000 to cover up 22.
Fuck.
Well, it's because they have to spend so much on violence interrupters.
No, it's because they chased the entire tax base out of town.
Yeah, that too.
Tax base.
Did you ever see that story in Oakland where those gliders got fed up with all the potholes and they just started going around themselves, filling them up across the city in their spare time?
Yeah, and that's something that you would think these Sun people would do. Well, no, you wouldn't think they would do it, but you would hope. You would hope that they would do it. Like, go to Home Depot. You can buy this stuff at Home Depot. Everything you need, right? Everything they got right here is they sell it at Home Depot.
And 2,200 square miles of roadway.
Now, in a great scenario, you would take care of the underground utilities first. But in our case, the way that our streets and the condition in our streets are now, we're really going to have to balance that out.
It shouldn't take almost a year to fix a pothole that is an obstruction in the middle of the street that can cause a wreck or cause a loss of life.
Some of those roads are so...
Look at that. That'll make your fucking airbag deploy. If you hit that, if you're not...
If you hit that, you're coming to a stop.
He said that's an obstruction. That's like a gateway to hell in the middle of the street.
Wait, is that a car like stuck inside there?
Somebody
Look at that. It's got the 2 tires in there.
They tried to fill it in with tires. I guess that was community members tried to fill it in with tires, baby.
That's not going to help at all.
Oh, look!
I think they're just showing how deep. I think they're just showing how deep the pothole is.
That's true. They may just be showing it's a tire deep. Yeah.
You're not driving over that. Your car's dropping.
Man, you drive over there, you're going to wind up in China.
I don't think the residents can even fill that up.
It would be an improvement for being in Jackson.
Then you go right.
You're going to go right through, all the way through the that looks like it goes all the way through, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you end up in China and shit. And then the Chinese extradite you back the next day because they're like, get the fuck out of here. But this is crazy because you have this. Then you go in the house and you turn the faucet on, the water's brown. They haven't picked up your trash in 2-3 weeks. Like me, I got a baby, right? So the thought of them not picking up all these poopy diapers for like 2-3 weeks is terrifying. But
how is Deion supposed to recruit when these are his talking points for the city?
Potholes that could swallow you whole.
Right.
We've got gun violence. We got no water. We got
brown water.
We got holes to China. We got
city council arguing.
They don't pick up trash on time.
bad, citizens are going out and trying to fix them on their own.
We got
A viewer sent us this image of a Jackson street.
The women
You can
bad
see
looking.
someone stuffed a tire in this pothole. Anything to keep a potential driver from flattening a tire or busting up a rim. 6 years ago, a citizen actually went out and patched up holes as the Robin Hood of roads.
Salute to
The
whoever
one
that
glider
was.
living in town.
Please
Definitely.
tell me it was a Sun person. Please don't tell me this was a glider.
Asphalt from the MDOT State Street location to patch 100 holes.
It was a glider.
God. It's there's no solutions.
Yo, it is every time. I mean, like, when you think they get dunked on, no race gets dunked on more than us, man. Us some people. That's like a tomahawk dunk, man.
He's probably dead. He's probably killed by some Sun team.
Yeah, straight bullet.
Someone in the chat said that they're taking dirt from the potholes and making cookies out of them.
Oh shit!
No.
Oh shit! Wow, that's crazy. Shit.
That's a 360 windmill tomahawk.
Yeah. Salute to Sebastian Kim. He says, "Turn this off. You are giving away our hiding place." Deport Coach Sanders from Colorado. He is going to ruin it. I thought Sun people didn't know about Colorado. Nowhere to go now, I guess.
Delete this immediately.
Yo. It's too late now, man. He bringing a whole bunch of he want to have a good football team. So you know what that means? He about to bring a whole bunch of Sun men out there, man.
I think he might be a little more careful about what kind to bring, though.
The good ones are usually trouble.
It's gonna be like the well-to-do sisters first, and then it's gonna be the
Hey, Ak, do you remember like Scared Straight?
Yeah.
You remember that, man? What happened? When did that turn into violence interrupters?
No way of working. What's up, Mayo?
Hey, you've said it before many times. Black people love spending money on shit they want and hate spending money on shit they need.
Yep.
And this is that in government.
Yeah.
Because they got violence interrupter money, they got program money. I mean, let's think about it. How many towns and cities came up after World War II that were built with these lead pipes?
All of them.
Right? Exactly. How many of them are still sucking lead now?
Very few.
Do you know why?
They fixed it a long time ago.
Exactly. And they fixed it within their means.
Yeah.
They didn't wait for government grants, federal and state government grants. These cities, these black-run cities, cannot survive without big daddy white government bailing them out constantly.
Yeah. This one though is crazy. Is this you, Mayo? Would you, if you lived in this city and this was your neighborhood, would you go out and fix the potholes yourself, or what would you do? How would you handle that situation?
My place up in Maine, we've got a private road. And my neighbor for years would grade it. He bought an excavator to grade the camp road. He received no money for it. He wouldn't even take donations for diesel.
Wow. Yeah, man.
That's just a kind person. He just kind-hearted.
Yeah, he cares about his environment.
Yeah, we're different, man.
Up a rim. 6 years ago, a citizen actually went out and patched up holes as the Robin Hood of roads, stealing asphalt from the MDOT State Street location to patch 100 holes in Bellhaven and Fondren. Another few years back, someone used concrete and gravel, sharing the completed work on social media.
What has basically happened is citizens saying, you know what, I don't want to see nobody risk life. Whatever I can do to plug this hole, that's what I'm going to do.
Needless to say, city officials say any of that activity is illegal. Professor Matt Steffi explains.
If the repair is poorly done or hides a problem that was visible before, then there's potential negligence involved.
Steffi says you could end up creating a dangerous condition that could lead to a potential lawsuit from the city, not to mention liability for another
bullshit.
driver's vehicle damage.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to top that shit, though.
That's
garbage.
This guy fixed 100 potholes himself, right?
Yeah,
Probably more than that.
Enterprising Glider didn't get arrested.
But he literally went up to the yard
You
and
can go.
took
You can
the
go
material
shoot
that
up a
was
neigh-
there.
You can go shoot up a neighborhood. You can go rob a CVS. They won't arrest you, but you fix a pothole. They're coming for you.
But he literally took the material that was there, which means the city had the materials to fix it.
They didn't have the will, though. They didn't have the will.
No,
He committed the great crime of shaming local government.
I'll bet whatever street he lives on and his entire ride to work is clean.
Yeah, definitely.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, salute to Gary G, man. He says, thanks for the tasty show. I'm used to this, but this is wild. Yeah, man. We're gonna wait till we're gonna go back to Boulder after this, man, and see what apparently there's getting a little sketchy in Boulder, man. Let's finish this video.
You should, however, call 311 or call this number.
What's up, man?
I was just greeting you.
Oh, hey, what's up?
601-960-7684. The city's website says allow 72 business hours for repairs. Troy Johnson, 16 WAPT News.
So they probably got these guys sitting around the shop waiting for calls.
It takes up probably like the whole street.
Are Jackson's one common denominator.
Is they seem to repair streets that are already in good condition and leave the ones with potholes in bad condition.
Almost every street I go down, there's a pothole. I am diverting potholes everywhere I drive in Jackson.
Everyone seems to have one nearby or a story to tell.
There was a sinkhole that my car could have fallen into, and they didn't fix it for months.
Jackson easily has thousands of potholes. For example, check out Northside Drive in Manhattan and try to count them all. 11, 12, 13, 14, 26, 27, 51, 52, maybe 60. I lost count. The problem is a combination of old streets, shifting Yazoo clay soil,
and Sunman leadership,
and a lack of maintenance over the past 2 decades.
Why? Well, I know why. The city can't address potholes.
P. Perry is on the 1% sales tax commission. That commission oversees how $13 to $14 million collected each year is spent on road improvements in Jackson. That money, in some cases, has been used to fully repair not only a road surface, but what lies underneath it: water, drainage, and sewer. The city has done resurfacing work. Mill Street, working on North State Street, and about to tackle the nightmares of Northside Drive. But Perry says Jackson is not doing enough to keep pace with potholes.
The $14 million that comes in from 1% money can't take care of it all, and they're not addressing any of it with basic money.
You have $1 million budgeted for street repair in Jackson?
Actually, it's about $500,000.
$500,000 to fix potholes in Jackson. Between 15 to 18 road repair workers to address the thousands of miles of pothole-littered streets. By most accounts, it is not even a fraction of what is needed to address the city dilemma. Charles Williams is the city engineer who admits they need more money, more resources, and needed more maintenance work to have been done long before this administration took over.
They need more white people.
Hey, do you know when the last white mayor of Jackson was?
What year?
18.
He left in 1998.
Wow.
20 years ago. And as soon as Sun leadership got in, they just stopped fixing shit.
Wow.
Yeah, because they steal the money.
Yeah, but isn't that what they used to use like chain gangs for? To fix the roads?
Well, no, that's cleaning up. They don't. It's inhumane to use them for like this hard labor. They clean up on the highways, but sisters will complain if they use their canes. to do this shit, man, they would complain. And pasty liberals,
they don't want to see their boyfriends out there fucking swinging a shovel.
I want Gabe a flying
As
slip.
you know, we have
I
a
need
very
more
large
Mexicans,
number
Zach.
of streets that have just deteriorated and gone
definitely.
well past their life expectancy. And so when you're trying to make those repairs and the existing conditions just are not favorable, it makes it very difficult. Even when you do make a pothole and properly repair it doesn't last very long.
The city says it is getting ready to buy more pothole trucks and equipment as it continues to plead for patience in the seemingly never-ending Jackson pothole problem. In Jackson, Scott Simmons, 16 WAPT News.
This is giving me Empire of Dust vibes.
When I worked for a summer job for an oil field, had the Mexicans out there on the crew. There was an oil spill. They could dig that oiled dirt out in like 20 minutes. And it was like, good God, they just go to town with those shovels.
They need to hire a whole bunch. If they were to hire a whole bunch of Mexicans up there in Jacksonville, in Jackson, I mean, they'd probably fix the whole problem.
$500,000 though is a pathetic budget.
$500,000 could pay with Mexicans. That could pay a lot of Mexicans.
It's a pathetic budget, yes, but they're the ones that passed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you run off all your tax base, that's what you're left with.
And their cost is even more to run off.
And the city gives them like all types of handouts because they know that, they
Well, they said 1% of the tax dollars was $14 million. What else are they spending?
No, that was 1% sales tax.
1% sales tax, yeah.
So the state gives them plenty of money and they use it for other stuff.
Driving through the Jack, the Jacktown, Jacktown streets. Yeah. Driving through the Jack is a struggle for me. These potholes be causing lots of trouble for me. I just hit one so hard it unbuckled my seatbelt. Streets looking like a jigsaw puzzle to me. Whole chunks out the street missing. Right there, big enough that you can go fishing in. Police keep asking why I'm swerving. Hell, they must not see the same thing I see. Potholes. Yeah, I drive straight sometimes I don't. I ain't lying. It depends on what street I'm on. Hey, yeah. I finesse down Terry Road. Hey, please do not drive down Mill Street. Why? Cause it'll shake you out your seat. Yeah. The city need their ass beat. Yeah. What? For these. Potholes. There's a lot of potholes in these Jackson streets. Boom, there. I dropped my phone because of all of these potholes. It's a lot of potholes in these Jacktown streets. I'm on State Street now, and they asked me, do I drive down State Street? I told her only partly because I love my...
Yeah.
That was dope.
Hey.
Yeah,
he's not rapping about killing people. Hey, that's good.
At first I thought he was, but then...
Hey, all that time spent writing a rap, he could have fixed some of the fucking potholes.
Yeah. Well,
No, he's got skills. Man.
Yeah,
if you took all the collective hours of Sunmen who wrote raps in Jackson, they could fucking fix the potholes.
Maybe it's like a hater fish.
Yeah, I mean, we took all the collective effort of Sunmen spent on killing each other. You could build like a space elevator, but that shit couldn't happen. So.
Jackson, though, because of that clay soil or whatever, they've always struggled with that. We used to drive through there all the time on my way up to northern Mississippi, and it was just every time you got to Jackson, it was ka-chunk, 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 even on the interstates.
You should partner with this guy and make a track.
Right.
That was funny, man. I like that a lot.
All right, here we are at Jackson's biggest pothole. Down here on Silas Brown, by one of the biggest businesses in town that decided to stay in Jackson.
Not for much longer.
And we have this.
So this is outside of one of the few businesses that decided to stay.
You can definitely see China in there. Look
That's
at
a
that.
foxhole, man.
It
A
goes all
pothole.
the way through.
There's a sun man living in there.
Yeah, put a tarp over that thing and you can live in there, man. That's
Oh,
definitely.
man. This is where you throw your trash when they don't pick it up.
Yeah, true indeed. That'll fill it in.
That's when you dive into the Dodge gunfire.
Yeah, that's where you hide bodies at.
Hole here.
Look at that pipe.
Pretty sure
Oh,
storm drain here is leaking, washing all this out. This is what carries rainwater off the street down the town creek. And the big pothole has a child now. We imagine that's going to look like that here pretty shortly. So last night, this car apparently came through here. You can see the skid marks all the way back. Oh, look, more
he
skid
tried
marks.
to brake. He saw it and he tried to brake and couldn't.
And they went through these road barrels. First place, road barrel rash there. Got the airbags deployed. And
That's like Grand Am in Jacksonville. You think that was a Sun driver or Jackson?
Yeah, definitely.
There.
Speeding.
Head on it.
Zebra.
Yeah, zebra print. Yeah.
No seatbelt. Hit the window.
The most Sunman car I ever saw in New Orleans was a turquoise and yellow Grand Am with Trap Squad in vinyl letters on the windshield.
Damn.